this guy named Mark at a bar one summer night while I was out with friends. We hit it off over the Cubs game playing on the screen, and we had that easy-going, bro-type vibe going. My group drifted away while I was chatting with him, so they didn't really get to know him. We exchanged Instagrams before I left to rejoin my group. His profile looked normal, just a guy in his 20s who travelled, worked out, and partied. I figured we'd probably never talk again. The next day, I went to a waterfront bar for my friend Tyler's birthday. While we were hanging out, someone tapped my shoulder. It was Mark. He smiled, dabbed me up, and said this was one of his favourite hangouts. I reintroduced him to my friends with a casual, "You remember Mark, right?" even though they barely noticed him the night before. He stuck around that night, but everyone was drunk and in good spirits, so it was all cool. A week later, Mark invited me to play golf. I sucked at it, but wanted to improve, so I agreed. My friends bailed, too hungover or uninterested, so it was just the two of us. We played 9 holes, got food, and then I went home. It was a chill time. Then he hit me with something unexpected, a hiking trip to Arizona. He had a whole plan, including the Grand Canyon. That had always been on my bucket list, and since I had PTO and nothing better to do, I said yes. I asked a couple of friends to join, but they either couldn't afford it or couldn't get a time off. Mark said none of his boys could go either, but I didn't find that strange. His Instagram made him seem social, so I assumed he had a circle. We flew out mid-August and landed at night. He had already rented a car, and we grabbed food and drinks before heading to the Airbnb. When we arrived, I noticed something off. Only one bed. I hadn't thought to ask how many bedrooms there were. When I brought it up, he casually pointed at the pull-out couch and said, "No worries, it's all yours. I'm covering the Airbnb anyway." Fair enough. A free trip to Arizona. I wasn't about to complain. I set up the pull-out and went to sleep. 3 a.m., I woke up to footsteps. I'm a light sleeper. It was Mark walking to the kitchen for water. I rolled over and went back to sleep. The next morning, we hiked Bright Angel Trail. It was brutal. I was drenched in sweat while Mark seemed fine. We took breaks, snapped pictures, and by the time we got back to the car, I was starving. We ate at a deli, drove back to Phoenix, and napped before bar hopping again. That night, I blacked out. I remember Mark blasting music in the Airbnb and me plugging in my phone before crashing on the couch. I woke up later, needing water, and went to the bathroom. I heard a door quietly shut. Had to be his bedroom. When I returned, something was off. My phone, which I'd plugged in next to me, was now on the table, unplugged. I chalked it up to drunken clumsiness, but it still bugged me. The next night, Mark insisted I take the bed. Just to be fair, he said. I agreed. The door didn't have a deadbolt, just one of those twist locks you could pop open with a coin. I didn't think much of it, but I should have. I woke up again sometime in the middle of the night. My phone was gone. The cord still hung from the outlet, but the phone was missing. I checked the floor and screamed. He blinked up at me groggily. Dude, I must have come in here by accident. Was drunk, I guess. That didn't explain why he was on the far side of the bed, the side furthest from the door. I asked about my phone. He acted clueless. Maybe it fell under the bed, he offered, then conveniently reached down and pulled it out from beneath. I didn't buy it. He was different now. Something about his demeanor had changed. His voice, his body language. He offered to sleep on the couch again, and I didn't argue. This time, I locked the bedroom door. But I wasn't done yet. Sometime later, I woke up again. I didn't know what pulled me from sleep, just that feeling, like a noise happened, but I wasn't fully awake when I heard it. Then I saw it, a silhouette at the foot of the bed. Mark. He sat down and started rubbing my foot. I screamed at him to get out. He didn't move. I had to physically push him off the bed and shove him out the door. I started packing immediately. Mark sat on the couch, silent, watching me like some lifeless NPC. He didn't say a word. I ordered an Uber to the airport and left in the middle of the night. He never contacted me after that. I never saw him again. It was one of those late summer nights, cool, quiet and empty. The beach was nearly deserted, with only the sound of waves and the distant glow of a cloud-covered moon lighting our way. Jason, Marcus, and I didn't bring much, just hoodies, our phones, and a flashlight Jason had grabbed from a kitchen drawer. We weren't planning to swim, just hang out, maybe walk the shoreline a bit before heading home. We cut through a quiet street, made our way down the boardwalk, and stepped onto the cold sand. Aside from a few lamps behind us, the beach was swallowed in darkness. The tide rolled in calmly, just barely visible in the dim moonlight. As we strolled near the water, the frigid waves occasionally kissed our ankles while we talked, joked, and killed time. Eventually, we stopped near a lifeguard stand and sprawled out in the sand, staring up at the sky. That's when Jason suddenly sat up. "Is that someone walking over there?" he asked, squinting toward the distant shoreline. We all looked. At first I saw nothing, just a dark blur. But then it shifted. There was someone. A solitary figure, maybe 50 yards away, walking along the water's edge. At first, we thought nothing of it, just someone else out late like us. But something was off. The person's movement wasn't normal. Their walk was rigid, robotic. Their arms didn't swing. Their posture was oddly stiff, with their head slightly tilted, like they were scanning the sand as they walked. We fell silent, watching uneasily. "What the hell are they doing?" I whispered. "Maybe they're looking for something," Marcus offered. Jason joked. "Drunk tourist, dropped his keys." We chuckled, trying to brush it off, but I couldn't stop watching. A few minutes later, the figure stopped, just stood there, and now they were definitely closer, maybe 30 yards away. "They've been standing there for like 5 minutes, Marcus muttered. "Who just stands like that?" Then Jason said something that made my skin crawl. "He's not just standing, he's looking at you, Kyle." I half laughed. "Nah, he's watching the ground." That Jason shook his head. "No, look, his head's tilted at you." He turned on the flashlight. I didn't want him to. I really didn't want him to. But he clicked it on and aimed it toward the figure. For just a second before the beam flickered out, we saw him clearly. He was pale, almost grey, shirtless, soaking wet. His jeans clung to him, dripping. His arms hung slack at his sides, his head tilted, not broken, but wrong. His eyes huge and bulging, like he hadn't blinked in hours. The moment the light hit him, he moved. He sprinted, a dead-on charge toward us. No hesitation. He went from stillness to full speed like a switch flipped. It wasn't human, the way he moved. It was like something launched him forward. We screamed and ran. The three of us tore down the beach, feet slamming into the sand. I heard Marcus shout, "Go!" behind me. We didn't look back, not once. We didn't stop running until we reached the boardwalk, then kept going until we were 2 streets away. When we finally turned around, the beach was empty. No one there. No movement, no footprints, just the waves and the dark. We didn't say much walking back. Once inside, we locked every door and window and stayed up until dawn. None of us could sleep. I kept expecting to hear knocking or see that pale face staring through the window. But it never came. The next morning, we joked about it. Maybe he was some unstable beach bum trying to scare people. But none of us believed that. Not really. His face, the way he moved, the way he vanished without leaving a trace, it didn't make sense. We stayed one more night but didn't step outside. Left first thing in the morning. Weeks passed. We didn't talk about it, tried to forget. Until Jason texted me one night. He said he'd been having dreams, the same one over and over. He'd wake up in the middle of the night and the man would be there, standing in the corner of his room, soaking wet, staring at him, never speaking, never moving, just watching. I didn't tell Jason this, but I'd been having the same exact dream. Worse, I sometimes woke up thinking I heard footsteps, wet, dragging footsteps in the hallway. But when I checked, nothing was there. And then, almost a year later, I saw a post in a local Ocean City Facebook group. Someone had uploaded a grainy photo taken from the beach the night before. The caption read, "Anyone know who this creepy guy was standing by the water around 1 a.m.? I clicked the picture. It was him. Same posture, same pale skin, just standing, staring down at the water. The comments made my blood run cold. Dozens of people said they'd seen him too. Some said he was there for hours. One person said they saw him walk into the ocean and never come back out. Another said they found wet footprints on their back porch. No prints leading to or from them. I don't know what we saw that night, but I do know this. Intley reached down and pulled it out from beneath.